Helen Ziller, I saw her on Podcast and Chill. She said this. And I also saw Prince Mashele too in SMWX, also insinuating this narrative. It seems to try and undermine or lessen the impact of apartheid in South Africa. So they tried to create this narrative that black people came into South Africa and found Khoi and the San people, and then obviously they took their land, right? The same way as white people came to South Africa to do the same thing. So they are trying to equate that to apartheid. Yo, bruh, apartheid, there's just no way around it. Like, just stop right there. Because of, the struggles in the country and things that are going on, people have become vicious. Like, it's almost like everyone is out to get you. Everyone is trying to get money out of you, South Africa has become so vicious. He said he has a rabbit, and when they are not fed, they eat their young. So they are young ones, and he feels like South Africa has eaten the future of their own kids. I'm driving with my little sister and I'm complaining about potholes, and she laughs at me. She's like, yo brother, I can tell that you don't live in South Africa anymore because you're complaining about potholes for so long. Actually, for us who live here, we don't even see any problem now. I was like, that's crazy. That's how wild it is. But how I've seen and how I'm seeing my point of view with Ndlozi, Malema is wrong about Ndlozi. They are the one who were persuading Zuma to join EFF or endorse the EFF if not joining. Malema said this himself, what they were trying to do. He went there himself to try and convince Zuma to endorse the EFF, and Zuma refused. It's not Ndlozi who was talking to the EFF, to the MK. As a matter of fact, Ndlozi is the one who was advocating against this entanglement with the MK. Now you come back and blaming someone who was telling you about it because you are mad that this person is not a gossiper. When he was told that by someone, by Floyd, that Floyd is considering leaving the EFF, he didn't run and gossip. I did this one. Ahora mathuphosa uthe mayesithethe indaba lena ngokushuba ngekukhanda ngizoba ukuthi ba they go to United States to be refugees. This one. Yeah, let me stop that, bro. Exe, I'm back. I'm so happy to be back. It's been a long time. Let's go to work. I'm back. It's been a long time. Let's go to work. Let's get things done. Yo, so much has happened. I have to apologize actually for taking so long. I went back home. I was in South Africa. Had a great time. I have so much to talk about and so much to catch on. About the glasses, I can see actually. I don't need glasses to see, but I've had so much exposure to like computers and stuff like that. I spend like too much time on computers and phones and whatnot. So these are blue light glasses. I use them to protect myself when I use like a computer or something like that, just in case someone is like, hey bo, since when is Mlondi now wearing glasses? Nah, I'm cool, everything is fine. It's just that now I've had to wear these glasses to protect myself to the blue light exposure. Yeah, let's go to work. I'm back. Let's go to work. But I say Spani, bro. Let's go to work, boy. Let's go to work. I go in your face. Actually, I like this thing, but I don't know if it's gonna be a distraction. Sorry to Smuda, Edict, my man. If this becomes a distraction and then it destroys this whole video, I'm sorry, bro. I don't know. I just like it. I thought this would be great as part of sets. I don't know. We'll see though how it shows up though. But I like it. I thought this was cool actually. This is in the Iron Man movie. I saw it from there and then I was like, I like that. So I want to use this as part of my sets, and I screenshot it and I bought it. So I hope it works. Because I don't want to get rid of my brain, because I could have placed it here, but also the brain has become like part of the show because it's been here for so long. So hopefully this still works out. You know, hopefully everything works out. Yo, I'm so excited and I'm so happy. I went back home. I was in South Africa and I have so much to cover actually. So I'm gonna try my best to cover as like many things as possible. I cannot even see the timer there. Let me see the timer, because I need to time myself, but I cannot see. But we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Okay. With that being said, I wanna start off. Yo, it's been so long. I wanna start off with my experience in South Africa, visiting home. I had a great time. You know, I went to see my grandmother, and I have an interview with my grandmother. This is my mom's mother. I had an interview with her, and her interview is gonna be dropping soon too. So please stay tuned. It's just that I have to, you know, sneak in this episode right here because I thought there's just so much happening, and so much happened during the January period, and I wasn't here, and I was busy and what's not. So I want to cover everything. I want to make sure that I cover everything. And then we're going to drop all the other episodes that I shot when I was in South Africa. One of them right now is streaming, which is my brother. I interviewed him, who is a member of the EFF, and he was in the, I forgot what's the name of that thing. Let me check. What do they call that thing in the EFF? He was in the General Assembly, the Provincial General Assembly, basically, the NPA of the EFF, where they were electing the EFF members. So like EFF leadership, I mean. So as a member of the EFF, so he told me about, you know, some stuff about what happened, you know, how some people like him wanted to vote for Ndlozi, but we're gonna get to that point in the episode. But anywho, please check out that episode. With that being said, also guys, subscribe. Come on, people. I'm not subscribing. Come on, bro. Subscribe, guys. Subscribe. Let's do this thing. So let's talk about home. Let's talk about home, man. My experience in South Africa, visiting home. Being in South Africa, actually, something that I'm noticing over a period of time is that it feels like there's so much tension in the country, in South Africa. There's just so much tension. And with this tension that we have right now in South Africa, people, because of, you know, the struggles in the country and things that are going on, people have become vicious. It's interesting, actually. In South Africa, people are vicious now. Like, it's almost like everyone is out to get you. Everyone is trying to get money out of you, you know. South Africa has become so vicious. I find it very interesting. People that are close to you, you know, are very close to you, right? People that you trust and what's not can also try like to get something from you, you know, friends or what's not, you know, that thing, you know, it's almost like the place is toxic in a way. I watched an interview in SABC News, actually. It was Dr. Badi Lekhohla on the news. When I saw him, actually, he captures this very well, what I'm trying to say. He said he has a rabbit, and when they are not fed, they eat their young. So they are young ones. So just like cats and dogs, obviously, sometimes we know that animals will eat their youngs. So he said rabbits specifically, when they are not fed, they tend to eat their youngs. And he feels like South Africa has eaten the future of their own kids, their own children. So that's how it feels like in South Africa. It's like South Africa has getting to that point whereby you can smell this thing. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually end up experiencing a civil war in South Africa. Because, like, you know how civil wars, for people who do history would know, how civil wars come about is whereby the country goes through this period whereby the poverty line gets so wide, in a sense that the people who are poor are becoming more, and they are eating into people who used to be middle class are becoming poorer. So instead of having a bigger middle class, you're starting to have a poor community or society, and then your middle class is diminishing and becoming poorer, and then the richer, actually the rich people who can afford and have money, actually also gets very limited, like, you know, because people are not as, you know, wealthy anymore because of the currency losing value, lack of service delivery, you know, so many things happening in South Africa. So also the portion of people who who can afford or who have things is getting very limited. You know, there's small number of people actually that have access and that have money. So access is limited now. You know, even if, for an example, when I'm saying access is limited, I mean, growing up in Hluhluwe, in my grandmother's house, that's where you wouldn't have water and electricity. But ekati go Newcastle Osizweni, we had water and electricity, and service delivery was way better than Hluhluwe. But now I can't tell the difference between the two actually. So that's a problem, because you are supposed to be growing the poor areas and making them middle classes rather than losing the middle class areas, having them become the poorer areas. So I think we have that issue as a country. And I've noted that we have normalized poverty. Potholes, lack of service delivery is normal in South Africa. It's very normal. Like, it's so typical, it's just normal. It's a day-to-day things. And to the point that I remember I'm driving with my little sister and I'm complaining about potholes, and she laughs at me. She's like, yo, brother, I can tell that you don't live in South Africa anymore because you're complaining about potholes for so long. Actually, for us who live here, we don't even see any problem now with the potholes. It's like we've gotten used to having potholes. We don't see them as an issue anymore. I was like, that's crazy. That's how wild it is. So people have gotten accustomed to having lack of service delivery and potholes as a norm. And then Mina coming also from outside, because I haven't lived in South Africa for so long, all the time when I visit home, I keep complaining about them. So those type of things, that says a lot, you know. So weird actually, bro. Like, I was thinking, like, there's so much good about South Africa, bro. Like, I want to celebrate my country, bro. But, yo, it's so hard to celebrate and just look over service delivery. It's so hard, actually. Very hard. Let me get my Vaseline. It's so hard to celebrate. Very hard. You know? How do you celebrate? It's so hard. You know, I'm so happy that I was home. I was in South Africa, bro. Like, come on, boy. Oh, face, boy. I was in SA, bro. I love being home, bro. I love being in South Africa. Yeah, it's just a sad reality, though, that we have to face about the state of the nation and where we are as a country. So those are the things that stood out for me, you know. You know, it's almost like South Africans in general, they remind me of this phenomenon of Capitec Bank users. I think it's a great phenomenon. I don't know if you've noted this. Capitec came out to say, it doesn't matter now if you withdraw money at Capitec ATMs or you use other banks' ATMs, you're going to be charged the same amount of money, right? Everybody knows this because at least I know this. I don't even live in the country, but I know this because Capitec came out and said that it's the same now, actually, whether you're using whatever ATM. But South Africans, just like how they are conditioned to get used to abnormality as the new norm, you know, they still line up in the Capitec Bank and create all these long ass lines in the Capitec Bank. You know, they create all those long lines in the Capitec Bank instead of using the other ventures, the other ATMs. People will line up in the Capitec Bank while Standard Bank is next to them, and what's the other bank? Nedbank, which are always empty next to them, but still line up in the same bank. That says a lot about the mentality of people in the country. It's almost like we have that just follow and just maintain the status quo in the country. So we don't have that thing of wanting change. You know, I feel like that idea all the time when I see Capitec users lining up in the Capitec ATM, it just captures how we are as a country. How, like, mentally, for an example, we have gotten ourselves accustomed to these things that are out of the norm. Lining up in an ATM like that is crazy to wait so long for your money. But now you have all these other ventures you can use, but you still do the same thing. So South Africa, it's like that captures the essence of what I'm trying to say about the citizens, the South Africans, and how they are, and they've gotten so accustomed to all the abuse, all the just not winning in life, you know, which is so used to not winning in life, man. You know, that just breaks my heart. Otherwise, bruh, It's nice to be home. It's nice to be in SA, man. SA, bro. It's my home, bro. It's nice to be there. It's nice to be there. And from that, I've been watching, obviously, other podcasts. For an example, SMWX, Sizwe Bofu, Wash. I love his podcast, actually. Love it. I follow him a lot. I've watched like so many podcasts, even the news. And there's this new narrative too, still on the SA matter. There's this new narrative that fucks with me, man. This narrative fucks with me. This new narrative about South Africa, it just messes me up. But anyway, so there's this new narrative, Helen Zille, I saw her on Podcast and Chill. She said this. And I also saw Prince Mashele too in SMWX also insinuating this narrative. I hate this narrative. I'm going to tell you why. What is the narrative? So there is this new thing that white people came to South Africa the same way as black people. So they took the land from, the argument is that black people took the land from the Khoi and the San people, right? Also, this was Helen Zille, by the way, in Podcast and Chill. And it was so weird that no one countered that, by the way. And Prince Mashele says the same thing too on SMWX. He says, he came in and said somewhat of the similar thing as Helen Zille in relation to how like white South Africans are as South African as any other black person, right? Who found the Khoi and the San people in South Africa. Okay, now, I don't have a problem with white South Africans being obviously just South African like anyone, like me or anyone else. That's fine. But this narrative seems to, because what they try to do when they say these things, especially Helen Zille, it seems to try and undermine or lessen the impact of apartheid in South Africa. Yo, bruh, apartheid masimba. There's just no way around it. Like, just stop right there. There's no way around it. So they try to create this narrative that black people came into South Africa and found Khoi and the San people, and then obviously they took their land, right? The same way as white people came to South Africa to do the same thing. So they are trying to equate that to apartheid. That's the narrative, the new narrative that has been pushed. Okay, this is my argument, is my argument. Are Khoi and the San people not black people? Like, I'm trying to understand that. Are we saying Khoi and the San people are not black people? Because I feel like this perpetuates the same thing that's apartheid was trying to do to black people. To tell someone who's Xhosa, yo, you are Xhosa, you are not Zulu. Someone who's Sotho, yo, you are Sotho, you are not Zulu or Xhosa. Someone who's Tswana, yo, you are Tswana, you are not this. Because right now I feel like they are Africans as much as any other African could be African. Right? They are just a tribe, right, if you may, right, like any other African tribe. So if we were fighting amongst ourselves and having our own civil war, just like how in Europe they had World War I, World War II, all the fights that they had, their own civil wars, you don't have any Africans there trying to come in and fucking take on land in Europe. That's like trying to come in and literally steal land in Europe. You don't have that history of Africans oppressing Europeans in Europe. Like, you don't have that history. So this narrative of trying to demean, or not demean, but rather make apartheid less of a big thing or big of a deal is nonsense and is stupid. You cannot compare these things. You cannot compare. It's not. Europeans came into South Africa, found black people in their own different tribes and whatnot, and they oppressed them. And that's about it. And it shouldn't be compared to Africans fighting amongst themselves, fighting the Khoi and the San people, who I consider Africans and black. So I don't understand what is it with that narrative. They like to do these narrative things, of doing that. I'm just disappointed at Prince Mashele falling for that stupid argument of saying white people came into Africa just like how the Nguni people, the Bantu people moved from the north and came to South Africa, found the Khoi and the San people. Yeah, we are the same people with the Khoi and the San people. We are all black and African. Yes, we had our own wars and our own fights, our civil things. That's us as Africans. So let's not equate as like it's almost like having a fight with your family members, and then you have the whole community or someone from next door coming into your home and then killing your mom. and then justifying saying, oh, but you guys were already fighting in your house, you were already fighting with your mother, I just came to kill her. No, fuck it. Fuck it. No, I don't want to have that argument. That's narrative. It's a new narrative. I've seen a couple of even white people saying this type of shit. That's all, they came from the north and they took the land from the Korean, the same people. Yeah, we are the same people as them. And yeah, we had our own fights in Africa too. We're not denying that. Nobody's denying that we had our own fights in Africa too. Our civil wars as Africans, our tribal wars as Africans. We're not denying that. No one is denying that. But that's our thing. That's us. You also in Europe had your own fights. But you don't have any history of Africans coming there to fucking kill y'all and take your land. So let's just end that narrative. Fuck it. And then you had this stupid nigga, I don't know why this guy, Andrew Tate's brother, Tristan Tate. He comes in and fits into the same kind of narrative, and he says South Africa was built by white people and black people will not be anywhere if it was not for the whites, right? My question is, how would you know that we are not going to be anywhere if it was not for the whites? We don't know that. As far as I'm concerned, when they came in, they destabilized our own progress. That's how I feel, right? Right now, for an example, if someone is a millionaire, right? That someone is a millionaire, and then I come into their lives and I take over their $1 million business and I turn it into $1 billion, and then I say to them, you are never going to be a billionaire or have turned this business into $1 billion if it wasn't for me. The business became a $1 billion business because it was for me. How do you know? I was in my own progress. I was already a millionaire myself. I already done something myself, right? I already discovered some shit myself. I was already working on clothing myself. I was already building my own weapons. I was cooking food. I had my own homes and my own shit and my own way of living. How do you know I was never going to get there? How the fuck do you know I was never going to get there? So that narrative is nonsense. People came in, destabilized us, our own progress. Whether we are going to get there or not, is here or there, nobody knows, right? Nobody knows that, right? We were in our own progress. So I hate that narrative too. Like the Tristan Tate, Andrew Tate's brother. I saw him saying that. I'm thinking to myself, the fuck, bro? What the fuck is he talking about? Right? How do they know? Because Chinese people built China. Because at some point also, the Chinese people were oppressed by England too, right? And they even took what you call the city, just right outside of China. I'm forgetting now. Why am I forgetting the name of the city? Hong Kong. Yeah, Hong Kong. And they took Hong Kong, right? But fine. Chinese gained their freedom earlier than South Africans, for an example. And with their time, they were able to turn things around, of course, in a big way compared to us as South Africans, right? In a small space of time, they were able to achieve so many things, right? Chinese were able to achieve so many things in a small space of time. They built China, right? They didn't suffer from apartheid with like South Africans. They didn't get to that point, right? And they were able to take themselves out of poverty. I live in China. I should know better about that, right? But unfortunately for us as South Africans, the English and the Boers had onto our land for too long compared to them, right? And also they never let go of it anyway, even after we resolved and found our newly democratic republic, right? But they still have the land, they still have all these things, and we still have some of the issues that we have, right? So we will never know how our progress was going to turn out to be like, right? So other countries were able to do it by themselves, like China, as I'm saying. So this narrative that you need a certain kind of people to be able, specifically you need a European or something like that to be able to develop yourself, is so stupid and just poor argument, right? Especially on the basis of not knowing where the people gonna get. You don't know where Africa was gonna go if everything they went through didn't happen. Again, I don't wanna keep on fucking blaming these people for this, because also as Africans we deserve that, because we lost major wars, right? For losing you take your L. I don't want to keep on blaming and what's not, because that's another thing. That's what it is here, bro. It's either you eat one or you get eaten yourself. That's the game. So if we're gonna keep losing the way we are losing, like we are right now, not participating in any major thing that is progress. Right now, the world is going to AI revolution. That's where people are. They're competing left and right, and we are nowhere to be found. And as long as that continues, you're always gonna have issues, boy. Anyway, we have so much to talk about. Yeah, but those are just things that were on top of my mind in regards to the issues in Africa and what's not, in South Africa especially. You know, I had big issues with those narratives that have been pushed. But we have another big issue. Hey, there's so much going on. South Africa is in war now. Hey, boy, there's just so much going on, bro. Like, I have so much to cover in this episode. Let's see. So what is happening? Rwanda, M23, South Africa, DRC war. What is happening? So the clash between South Africa and Rwanda in the DRC, which is Democratic Republic of Congo, is a complex issue, of course, centered around the ongoing conflicts in the DRC, especially in the eastern parts of the DRC. So the conflict is in the eastern parts of DRC, as I said, has been plagued by violence, of course, with M23 rebels group allegedly supported by Rwanda, fighting against the Congolese army. And then South Africa's involvement. South Africa, as part of the South African Development Community, which is the SADC, has deployed troops to the eastern DRC to support the Congolese government and stabilize the region. This move has been seen as a challenge to Rwanda's influence in the area. So South Africa is one of the DRC's biggest trading partner, and we have so many companies also that are mining like there and invested in the region. So that's the interest of South Africa, and this is why we are involved in that region. We also have our own interest because we are apparently one of the biggest trade partner with Congo. So we're there for our own interest. We're not just there for Congo, because some people don't understand the game of international relations and all this shit. But we are there for our own interest. Trust me. If South Africa had nothing there to win, they were not gonna be there, bruh. Politics, they were never gonna be there. It's not about just you like Congo and that's why you're there. Nah, bruh. South Africa has something to benefit too. That's why they are there. So let's get that clear. South Africans need to understand that we are there because of that. So, but then if this is our involvement and our own interest, what is Rwanda's interest? So historical, ethnic ties. So apparently in the eastern region of Congo, the ethnic ties in a sense that some of the people there in that region, just like in South Africa, you have Botswana people who live in northwest, right? Botswana people a lot there in northwest. Same thing, and Botswana is just above northwest. Same thing in Rwanda. In the eastern region of DRC, you find so many people who are, I forgot what they call them, but who are Rwandan people, right? So ethnically, those people are Rwandan people, like historically, as much as they are Congolese by, just like how Botswana people are like Tswana people, but they are South Africans in the same way. So they are Congolese by registration and what's not, but at the same time, these are Rwandan people ethnically, right? And they speak Rwandan language. I forgot the language, but they speak the Rwandan language. And then also another problem that Rwanda has is security concerns, such as the presence of the Democratic Forces for the Liberation, who are accused of Rwandan genocide in 1994. If you know the movie Rwanda about the genocide, you should know that. So also there is obvious economic interest given the presence of minerals in the area. So Rwanda is interested in this eastern region because they have the ethnic ties, which are the people that are Rwandan. Also, they have security concern because apparently there's a group there that is very popular and big in that eastern region. That is what was accused of the genocide in Rwanda back in 1994. There's a movie about that again. Is it Hotel Rwanda, the movie about that. So you should know that if you've seen that movie. Great movie, by the way. So also, obviously, like any other country, Rwanda has economic interest in that area. So that's how Rwanda gets involved here. So Rwanda has long been accused of supporting the M23 rebels group, which are the group that South Africans are fighting. Because this group is the one that is killing the Congolese soldiers, or has been fighting with the Congolese soldiers, and is being accused. Rwanda is being accused of supporting that group, giving them weapons and arming them to kill and fight the Congolese people. Okay, so let me pause it here. Okay, we are back. So yeah, Rwanda is accused of that, and then Rwanda's president, Paul Kagame, has denied these allegations, but the country's interest in the region are clear. Obviously, the country's interests are clear in the region. So that's how South Africa gets involved in fighting against Rwanda. So recent developments, the conflict has escalated with 13 South African soldiers killed in the recent fighting, and President Ramaphosa has condemned the violence and called for the peaceful resolution to the conflict. International response, right? About United Nations Batin Bona. The United Nations Security Council has called for an immediate end to the hostilities and resumption of peace talks, of course. So the international community is pushing for a diplomatic solution to the conflicts. Anyone, I mean, come on, bruh. So later on, though, I also saw something interesting in regards to this, which I don't know how this is going to be resolved over time. But South Africa is involved again, which I never actually, I never imagined, because I saw South Africa sending even more enforcement to go there. I just don't imagine South Africa going to war right now. I just don't think we are in a space where we need war as a country, or where we can also afford war. I just don't think so. I just don't feel like South Africa is in a space like that we can go to war with any country, to be frank. Like, we're just not there. We have so many problems in our own home, in our backyards, that we need to solve. But again, we have interest, because it's not like we are there just on someone's favor or something like that, or doing someone's favor. We are there for ourselves too, as much as we are there for Congolese people and what's not, but we are there for our own self-enrichment too, trying to enrich our country and better our country. So it's a complex issue, actually, you know. But what I found interesting, kids to be killed in Congo. Also, I saw kids who were being accused of being part of the M23. They were paraded all over social media. I don't know if you saw that, but there were so many kids from Congo. Boo, if you have pictures, bro, please share the pictures here. But there's some kids also that were paraded all over social media that were being accused. So many kids, there were about 300, if not 200 and something kids, but there were so many kids that were being accused of being members of the M23, and the government caught them and they're about to be killed or something like that. I don't know in regards to that, but I was asking myself, if you find 15-year-olds and 14-year-olds with AK-47s and what's not, what is the government supposed to do with those people? Are they like just lost generation, I guess, or future at that point? Because there's so many of them. I don't know what's going to be the end of that, but I thought this was interesting, actually. And such big arguments too about what should be done with them, because they are kids, but at the same time, the fact, man, is still AK-47 and they still killed people. So it's such a complex issue, actually, to judge, right? As to say, do you say the kids maybe, obviously they're just taken as kids and we just let them go? It's very complex to judge this issue in regards to that point. But anywho, let's go to work. What do we have next? Hey, this thing seems like that's a disturbance. Not sure. But anyway, let's go to work. What do we have next? What do we have next? Okay, coming back again towards South Africa. It's very surprising for me. I don't think anyone could have seen this coming. I feel like Ramaphosa has, to be honest, he kind of earned my respect to a certain extent. He kind of did. President Ramaphosa is doing things that no other president, I feel, has pushed like he has. This guy is doing the opposite of what I thought he'd be doing. Based on the alignment with the DA, I didn't see him choosing and making the choices that he made, right? So he passed bills that are so EFF and Kontowesi's were like, right? Bills that I wouldn't expect from an ANC or from Ramaphosa. But he did it, you know? bills that you would have expected from an ANC of Jacob Zuma, for an example, were done by Ramaphosa. And he passed them. Fascinating. It's so interesting that this guy is doing this, right? These things, I would have thought not Ramaphosa, but Zuma or Nelson Mandela or someone who's recognized much more as a revolutionary rather than Ramaphosa to pass them. So let's talk about these things. I have to give this man props. I'm gonna continue giving him props because, I was never gonna vote for Ramaphosa ever in my life, and I never saw him as the leader that South Africa needed, nor did I see him like the character, just not him. Like, he's a billionaire, he's rich, he's literally very entangled to the establishment, to the system of capitalism, just manipulating people and all about greed and taking money and shit. He's a billionaire. As a president, I just didn't see him doing some of the things that he done. And I just have to respect that. You cannot not respect that, bro. I feel like no matter how you try to justify, he's this and this, but the guy has proven himself otherwise. Like, I have to give that, like, heads off. The guy has proven himself so much otherwise, more than the people that we recognized and thought are revolutionaries, like your President Zuma. But anyway, let's go to it. Let's talk about it. Okay, might not be much because this is just still on paper and it's still policies. And I don't think South Africa actually need policies per se like that. We need change, actual change on the ground, infrastructure. That's what we need. But to an extent, it's a step in the right direction, one might say. At least the right direction in how I view and see the right direction. Because the right direction is not the same direction for everyone. So I need to qualify that. But again, the Bella Bill. So what is the Bella Bill? Again, I said this before. It's a Basic Education Laws Amendment Bill, right? So, or some people say, it articulates issues basically in regards to education, right? In my understanding, the Bella Bill tries to clarify or help a situation of exclusion that has been used in South Africa recently, especially to exclude Africans. So apparently you had, for an example, one of the issues that this bill seeks to address is you have schools that exclude African kids on the basis of language. For an example, like you have a school that would be maybe Afrikaans. You have to be an Afrikaans person to enter the school, or you have to know Afrikaans or something like that, right? And then there is a sense that these schools were purposefully wanting to exclude people on the basis of them not fitting into a certain demographic, right? So this was the idea. So that bill seeks to clarify those type of things, in my understanding, so that anyone can be able to have access to any education possible in South Africa. Because then you find that these schools that were built for a certain demographic again are now using things like language and Afrikaans as form of exclusion, because now we don't have the apartheid, of course. So that's the idea, that the Bella Bill is trying to address such issues. Now, where I think we have issues, as I said, like those type of issues, yeah, they are there, but I think they are not the main issue. The main issue is build the schools for the Africans. You need more schools for the Africans that are as quality as the schools of those Afrikaans kids. Right? Because what you're going to have, as I said, you're going to have a situation whereby the poor people are going to eat into the rich spaces, of course, and there won't be enough space for everyone. Just like how the electricity issue happened in South Africa. You had a grid of Eskom that was built to accommodate a certain demographic that is not equivalent to all the South Africans, like the black South African majority that we have in the country. So that's the issue. So it's the same thing that I think is happening here. So you have issues, for an example, right now at UCT, kids are striking for funding, right? At UCT, in all universities, right? So when you have those type of things, those are the things you need to address. Because UCT is an institution, is running and it has students, but those students are not happy because they don't have funding. Those are the issues we need to deal with, right? I think those are the major and pressing issues over maybe some of the things that are mentioned in the Bella Bill, as much as I think the Bella Bill is good and is a step in the right direction, in my opinion, okay? But you have major issues, right? You have major issues, right? I'm going to read the letter here. I have the letter from the UCT University. Actually, I can't read the whole thing, but I'm going to read some part of the letter about students' grievances in the university. I know this type of stuff because I've been there, bruh. Been there, done that, bruh. We know this type of stuff. So, they say, we, the students of the University of Cape Town, through the SLC, HC, and FCs, okay, I guess these are just societies and just general groups in the like students facility or what's not, right? So the general students populace write this letter as a collective expression of our concerns and expectations regarding the pressing issues affecting both students and the broader UCT community. So as stakeholders in the academic and social well-being of this institution, we believe that our voices must be heard and our grievances must be addressed with urgency and commitment. So the challenges we face, ranging from financial barriers, accommodation, shortage of mental health support, and academic policy. I thought mental health support actually is interesting. Academic policy concerns have remained persistent year after year, and we have noted that they have even regressed annually with no meaningful resolution. Now, these problems are not new. So that's my issue. Are not new. These problems these kids are talking about are not new. Been there, 2016, we are the generation of Fees Must Fall. These things were there. These things are always sorted for that time. It's like, which I always find awkward. It's like when we have issues, let's say right now, the university starts, opens, there are issues, the university doesn't address these issues. Students will strike. Go on strike, shut down shit, ban a building, ban a car, and then boom, all of a sudden the issues they were talking about in the beginning, all of a sudden they are being addressed. And then we have the year. Finish the year, come back next year, same thing. I don't understand. All the time that's what will happen is that every year they're going to deal with that issue because now things are happening at that time. And then somehow there's going to be a resolution to the issue for the moment. And then we don't have the future as to what happens going forward regarding those issues. Now, these are the things that I think education should be addressing, right? As much as the Bella Bill is a thing, but these are pressing issues. We should have a system whereby we know students are going to get funding from this because we have an education what funds that could be taken from different entities that we have in the country, and also even doesn't need to because we have tax so much in South Africa, mines and so much. So many students from Namibia and all those countries are doing well, right? Not Namibia, but Botswana rather, right? Because I think also including Namibia, I forgot where that girl was from, because they are funded by their country through mines and stuff like that, right? So how are they getting that? Those are the type of things we could have actual systems to deal with, so we solve these problems like for the future. Because every year students will ban and damage even more property before something gets addressed, but it's only addressed for those students at that time. So things like that. So the Bella Bill for me then will run short in those type of things, because I think we have more problems and bigger things than just the issues with the students that are being raised right now. So we acknowledge the statements released by the university regarding students' actions and the financial and accommodation crisis at UCT. While we are aware that the outlined financial relief measures are brought by negotiations and talks, we students strongly disagree with the framing of the student frustrations and the proposed disciplinary actions against those advocating for their right to education and access to dignified accommodation. So the university's communication fails to adequately address the systemic barriers that continue to exclude students from higher education, nor does it acknowledge the legitimate grievances raised through mass action. It is concerning that the response to distress is framed through the lens of consequence management rather than genuine resolution. Exactly, that's another thing all the time. So, but the letter is longer than this, so I can't read everything. But these are the issues that I think, for an example, with the Bella bill and what's not, we should be addressing, like primarily. I don't even think we need a bill to address this. But anyway, again, the NHI bill. I'm glad also again this Ramaphosa, by the way, pushed the Bella bill. So did he also push the NHI bill, right? The NHI bill. The NHI bill similar, okay, to the Bella bill for me. Because the NHI bill seeks to do almost the same thing as the Bella bill. In a sense that Ramaphosa said he felt, I saw him actually speaking in the news, where he said there is healthcare exclusion, obviously that is on the basis of finance, right? Because people who go to private hospitals gets the best healthcare, and people who cannot afford private hospitals go to public, and then they get the worst. And then this NHI bill says basically the idea was for the private sector to accept people from the public sector, and then they are going to bill the government to pay for their services to the public, right? Because apparently we can't obviously build hospitals and clinics fast enough, but still, I think that's the issue here, again, as I'm saying, is not, if you think about how countries like China build a hospital in a month for COVID-19, it will tell you a lot about people being on the money about their shit, knowing their stuff, right? It will tell you a lot about agency, sense of agency, which we as South Africans, we don't have, like as a country, as a government, we don't have the sense of agency. Because what we need is more hospitals and clinics and more doctors being employed. That's what we need. So having the NHI bill is pressing the private sector and doesn't necessarily solve, because what's going to happen is that if, let's say, the NHI bill goes on and everything works as it's supposed to, the private sector is going to sink. Because they're not going to be able to contain the number of people that are going to come into the private sector. The private is going to be like the public, is going to sink. Why? We don't have enough or adequate infrastructure to address the issues of healthcare. So that's where we should be invested in. So passing bills don't necessarily equate to action and things being done. I think that's my only issue. But still, salute to President Ramaphosa for actually pushing such things. And then, after that one, this one, point. Lena ithinte okwasani ke lo. Awu Ramaphosa uthe maye into lena kwashuba ke kukhana. Ngizoba abantu sethu they are going to United States to be refugees. This one. Then there was land expropriation. Land expropriation, abantu bathi ba refugees ase America bona manje. This one touched people. People were registering. I'm American now. This one of land expropriation. This is another bill that Ramaphosa passed, which this one, again, is not as significant as many people would like it to be, actually, or some people assumes it is. And it's not as big as people make it to be honest. What Ramaphosa did here is almost like he just jabbed. Like, can we do this thing? Can we jab them? That's what he did. He's like, let me see, can we, that's what he did. That's the only thing that happened here. So what is the land expropriation bill? Let's see what happened here. So President Cyril Ramaphosa has signed the land expropriation bill into law, right? Which sets out how the states can expropriate land in the public interest. According to Ramaphosa, the act aligns with the constitution, specifically the section 25, which recognizes expropriation or as a mechanism for the states to acquire property for public purposes or in the public interest, so subject to just and equitable compensation. So people here, this is not expropriation without compensation, right? People are gonna get their monies, right? Because we still have a constitution in South Africa that we need to adhere to and follow, right? So people are not going to just get their things taken away from them or dispossessed of their own belongings and what's not. It's not that. Although that's how in the Afrikaner community, especially the poor Afrikaner, have interpreted this bill. Or people also who own land, also stolen land, also felt like that in regards to this bill, right? So Ramaphosa emphasized that the act is not a form of land confiscation, but rather a constitutionally mandated legal process that ensures public access to land in the equitable and just manner. The Act also provides for due process and court oversight, ensuring that expropriation is not arbitrary and that property owners are fairly compensated, right? So overall, Ramaphosa's stance on the Expropriation Act is that it's a necessary tool for promoting land reform and redressing the country's painful past, while also ensuring that the rights of property owners are protected. Bro. For me, I expected these type of policies from a Mandela, a Thabo Mbeki, or a Zuma, not Ramaphosa. So I give him props for that. I gotta give him props. I have to. Like, for real, bro. Like, I have to give him props for that. You know, as much as not much, but it's a jab. It's a, you know, a step to a certain direction that we never tried before. And in all honesty, I feel like the ANC is doing this because they see we're losing power anyway. But at least let's lose power while knowing we tried to do what we had set out to do in the first place, in the beginning. Let's go for the mines now. We need to nationalize some of these mines. Yeah, like expropriation, like policy bill. We should expropriate the mines. That's where we should go. That's the space that I think South Africa needs to move to. And produce our own goods from these minerals instead of sending these raw minerals to create jobs outside of the country. Yeah, that's me though. That's where I think we should go with this. But again, interested parties, then, about Trump and Afrikaners, we're touched by this one, boy. So, Zasuka, Donald Trump, what Twitter, and then Afrikaners were declared they can apply to be refugees, right? So far, to be honest, there is no like white person that I know that believes that white people in South Africa are targeted, especially by the government, and they are endangered like directly, right? South Africa has crime, but this crime applies to everyone. Black people are dying more than white people every time, you know. So it's not like they're being targeted, like how Donald Trump has, which I know is influenced by Elon Musk, but anyway, that's a story of another day. I don't think how it is being phrased right now to Donald Trump is as accurate as it is on the ground and in reality. It's not. Just not as accurate. It's not. Really, really not. Right? And there's no white South African that I know that believes this and says this, at least. Right? So whatever, but they are smart. So the white people, as much as this is happening, they're taking the opportunity, and that's being smart, and they're applying because they have a chance now to be American and get refugee status in America. They can go to America anytime they want, whether this is true or not. They're using it to their advantage, as much as they know this is nonsense. No white person is endangered in South Africa, but I understand too why they would do that. If I was them too, I'll take that advantage of this situation and have access to America and American markets if I'm in business. Makes sense. Like, who can complain with this access that they're being given, right? So this bill, apparently it's not the bill, the law that's Trump is not even the law. I don't know, access, I guess, that Trump has given to South Africans applies even more to white South Africans or Afrikaners rather, who live outside of South Africa. So, or South Africans in general who live outside of South Africa, but we know who's the target market for this shit that they are going with. Okay, so yeah, that was that in regards to this issue. And then, with all that's happening, then there was my biggest one. The issue of Malema and Ndlozi. I need to talk about this issue. Malema and Ndlozi. I need to talk about this issue in the EFF. I am so heartbroken. I need to say this. Let me take off these glasses. I'm so heartbroken by the actions of Julius Malema, actually. They're so weak, pathetic, actually, to be wild, and I don't even know how to say this, just to be as... I guess I'm just disappointed, man. Like, I'm just... I don't have words. I'm just disappointed with Malema. Malema is facing a situation whereby people, of course, betrayed him. I would say that, right? But it's specific, the people who did this to him. His best friend, his buddy, Deputy President, Flo Shibamvu, betrayed Malema. Now, Malema is not his brother, all that shit. They did, right? Join Mkhonto season. But how I've seen and how I'm seeing my point of view with Ndlozi, Malema is wrong about Ndlozi. Totally wrong. That's my opinion, right? Okay. From how it's being narrated, and I make sure I listen to Malema, I've been listening to him. I couldn't wait to hear Ndlozi's side before I decide and make my own comments in this deeply. Right? Ndlozi, Shibamvu, and Dalimpofu entangled the EFF with MK. They are the one who were persuading Zuma to join EFF or endorse the EFF if not joining. Malema said this himself, what they were trying to do. He went there himself to try and convince Zuma to endorse the EFF, and Zuma refused. It's not Ndlozi who was talking to the EFF, to the MK. As a matter of fact, Ndlozi is the one who was advocating against this entanglement with the MK, saying this is going to create problems for us when you keep entangling us with the MK, which also created this confusion of people saying we are one with the MK. That's him, Julius Malema, his deputy, and Dalimpofu. Julius Malema says this. The people that were involved in trying to talk to the MK and the meetings that Zuma called, and also them going there, not Ndlozi. Ndlozi was not there. As a matter of fact, Ndlozi says, I warned them and I refused this entanglement with the MK. It's created confusion for our voters. People, because the leadership is saying, hey, we are one with the MK. This created issues, right? Then they're having a falling apart with his deputy. People are leaving the party, obviously. Malema was not happy, right? And then now he's skeptical of everyone. And of course, Ndlozi is closer to Shibamvu, right? Based on their history at Wits University. And also Ndlozi being recruited by Shibamvu to join ANC back then. So they have a close relation, right? So then now, for me, in that position, if I was a leader, people are leaving and what's not, I would be trying to convince people, actually against people who are willing to stay, like Ndlozi, to convince them how fucked up it would be if they were to betray me too. Like, I'd be trying to find ways, because at the end of the day, this is politics. It's a game of numbers. You want to get your soldiers convinced that you are the right person and you are the leader for them. That's what you're trying to do. You're not trying to lose everybody and say, oh, I'm going to be by myself. Oh, I'm always alone. Nah, boy. Nah. It's not the way. It's not the one, bro. Nah. Because that's what he's doing. Throwing tantrums. It just disappointed me. Because of how much I looked up to him. I look up so much into this man, bro. Malema, I look so much up to him. It's just disappointing. It's just pathetic leadership, to be honest with you. Pathetic. To come back and blame Ndlozi for the entanglement with the MK while you were the part of the people who were going to talk to Zuma and entangling the EFF with MK. Now you come back and blaming someone who was telling you about it. Because you are mad that this person is not a gossiper. When he was told that by someone, by Floyd, that Floyd is considering leaving the EFF, he didn't run and gossip and tell you that, yo, this guy is considering leaving the EFF. You should know that, because you're the one who entangled your party with these people. You're the one who allowed this entanglement. You're the one who allowed these people to go to meetings with Zuma. This one is on Malema. I have to say it. I listened to these two, both of them. I've listened to what Malema had to say. Malema basically is not trusting Ndlozi on the basis that Ndlozi is closer to Shibamvu and the history that they had at Vets, and is not trusting him, right? And also on the basis that Ndlozi knew for 2 weeks before Shibamvu came to the EFF and told the leadership that he's leaving. This was not his place to tell the leadership he's leaving. He said the right thing. Go tell the leadership if you want to leave. And then it's up to Floyd to go and do his thing. Why should Ndlozi be the one responsible for retiring Floyd or something like that, or like creating? Because if, as Ndlozi said, imagine if he went and told Malema and then Floyd end up considering something else. Then what? And I think my biggest thing though is that you, the president, as the CRC, you were part of the people who were entangling the party with the MK. You went to see Zuma, not Ndlozi. I think that's where my biggest issue is. Now you come back to blame him, and then you're trying to be smart. On top of that, you exclude him from the conference. So you beat him outside of the conference instead of letting the people, because the people should decide, and then you call the EFF democratic. How is it democratic? Because if Ndlozi was not wanted by the people, he should have been given a chance to come and the people decide. The people shall govern. All the time people will make the choice. Right now, people can see again what the EFF is doing, or rather Malema is doing, because it's very clear now that there is no such thing as like leadership in the EFF. There's Malema. That's very clear, because this is specifically Malema. It's so obvious this is specifically about him, and the EFF is about Malema, bruh. It's very clear, because then this also says something about the so-called democracy in the EFF. Because if it's democratic as you're saying, then let democracy decide. You can't exclude people outside of the conference. You can't do that, because that's what he did. Exclude someone through some fucking fake suspension, and then go around and convince people that they should vote for your friend to be your deputy, and then come back and say, I'm democratic, I'm from like an election in the party, NPA. That's dumb, bro. That's stupid, bro. I just need to say that. That's fucking circus, dog. Circus. Only people who are stupid are not gonna see that. It's a circus. That just pisses me off. As a leader, you want to make sure that you convince your people that you are the right man for them. You don't want them to leave and go join another party. Right? Now you have people who are saying, yo, I'm with you. Yeah, you flop there. You entangle us with those people. Now people are gone. I'm with you. And you say that's an agent of another party. You are the one who started the shit. So I'm alone. Fuck you, bro. You chose that shit. Anyway, whilst still talking about this issue, and then there is this one. This one just kills me, man. Duduzile Zuma. I am glad again this is happening to Floyd. I am so happy. Oh, I'm so happy that this is happening to Floyd. Oh my God, this has been a long time coming, actually. I'm glad. Floyd, bro, like, broke so many hearts. He hurt so many people with his decision to leave the EFF and join MK. Oh, he deserves all the things that are coming to him. Oh, he deserves it, that guy. So this drama between Floyd and Duduzile Zuma. I find it very interesting, actually. So what I've seen, again, this is me. I don't know exactly what was the actual start of this issue. I haven't been able to find that, like the actual reason. Let me see. Where's my thing? The actual reason that started this feud. Oh, but I'm glad this feud is happening. Oh, Floyd deserves it. Oh, Floyd is a motherfucker, bro. He deserves it. All I saw was there was a post, right? The post was from the Marxist Leninist, right? The post said Duduzile Zuma is the biggest problem in the MK party. Full stop, right? And then Duduzile Zuma replied to this post and said, "Fuck you, Floyd," which suggests that this post is posted by Floyd or someone related to Floyd, or something, a group that is related to Floyd or supports Floyd. So that's what I saw on Twitter, which was a shock too. Like, what the fuck you, Floyd? Like, where is this coming from? And then another post that I saw was members of the MK party who joined in December 2023 are as important as this one is from Kontowe Sizwe Info what. So members of the MK party who joined in December 2023 are as important as members of MK party who joined on the 10th of February 2025, right? MK party is for all members. That's what this post said. And then Duduzile Zuma comments on this post and says, "Floyd, I'm not scared of you. Tell your minions to fuck off, bloody mafigizolos." That's what Duduzile Zuma said, right? Floyd deserves that. Oh, Floyd Shibambu, he deserves that. Oh, fuck that guy, bro. Oh, fuck him. He deserves that. Oh, he deserves that shit. Oh, when I saw that, I was like, beautiful, right? And then I guess shit was happening, yeah. Obviously, Zuma came out to try and calm down the fires, and, warned about this being ill-disciplined by Duduzile Zuma and what's not. And then Duduzile Zuma wrote a letter, right? This letter, actually, for me, was just... I love this letter, actually. Although this letter, I mean, come on, bro, if you know ChatGPT, this letter is just ChatGPT. But anyway, Duduzile Zuma comes in on the 11th of February 2025, and she wrote the letter. And the letter says, "As a committed and disciplined member of the Mkhonto Wesizwe Party, I hereby extend this unconditional public apology to President Zuma and Mkhonto Wesizwe Party leadership for the profanity used in my recent post on X." Not apologizing to Floyd. Hey, I love this politic game, man. I love it. Floyd deserves that. She didn't apologize to Floyd on the post, on this letter. She went on to say, "While I hold strong and personal views, including serious concerns about internal party matters, my perceptions of how certain issues may be handled within the organization, especially by the party's Secretary General, which is Floyd Shibambu, I fully recognize that such concerns should have been and shall be addressed through the proper internal channels as dictated by the core values and principles of the glorious movement of the people. I acknowledge that expressing these grievances publicly was unfortunate and may have undermined the unity, discipline, and respect that defines the MK party. My profanity was not and should not be a reflection of the revolutionary discipline, respect, and solidarity that our organization under the esteemed leadership of President Jacob Zuma upholds. To President Jacob Zuma of the MK party, the entire leadership, members, supporters of the MK party, and the people of South Africa, I wish to assure you that I never intended to harm the integrity of the party or the values of its upholds. Hence my deepest apology for any offense caused in this regard. She didn't apologize to Floyd, bro. Yo, she didn't apologize to Floyd, bro. She didn't. This is 101 gaslighting the shit out of a nigga, bro. 101 gaslighting. Hey, women are good in this. Women, they will do a problem and they know what they're doing, right? And in them apologizing, they will wanna, like this thing of pretending like, I don't see the issue, or I didn't hear what the issue is, or what. Gaslighting. Just gaslighting the problem. Gaslights the problem. It's like I'm gonna leave the actual issue and not address the person and apologize to the person and make it about the party and whatnot. Nah, bro. You know what you were doing. You know? I don't think actually this lady is interested in working with Floyd. I don't think this lady wants to work with Floyd. This person is not interested in Floyd, bro. And Floyd deserves the shit. And I'm happy that Floyd is getting this. This lady, now I'm asking myself, what's gonna happen when Jacob Zuma dies? Hey, bro. My man is 80, man, 82, 80 something. Huh? If Jacob Zuma, like all of us, we gonna reach the age where we can't live anymore and we go, what's gonna happen? This, without Jacob Zuma, can you imagine how messed up this would be? Without Jacob Zuma there, because Jacob Zuma is the center. And without Jacob Zuma, the center is not going to hold. Because I don't see anyone who's as big as him. Floyd, in all honesty, is a great leader that would be influential in the absence of someone like Jacob Zuma. But he's new in the party. There are people who are there and who pushed for this victory that MK got, which was the 15% from the elections. And he was not there for that. He came to join in the party's celebrations, basically, because he didn't do well with the EFF. So as a leader, then his center won't hold. His voice is not going to hold in the party. What the fuck is going to happen? I'm happy. Actually, Floyd is the most deserve this shit, bro. Furthermore, I offer formal apologies to all structures I serve in, whose roles and responsibility I carry with the utmost humility and commitment. I hope my apology is received in the spirit of accountability, revolutionary solidarity, and a genuine commitment to uphold the values of the MK Party. I am fully prepared and committed to cooperate with any internal processes deemed necessary by the party as part of my continued dedication to the ideals of the discipline, respect, and unity in revolutionary solidarity. Commander Duduzile Zuma, Umkhonto weSizwe party member. Aye, madoda. Aye. I'm laughing because a person who should be addressing such issues in the party, isn't it the party's Secretary General? And in this case, Secretary General is Floyd, and is the person that is being violated here or being involved in the case. And how is he going to advocate that case if it involves him? It's crazy. Or people on Twitter were saying, hey, these ones probably had sex and this one wants to hold on now and Floyd doesn't. So many things were being said about this issue. But I'm just glad that it's happening, especially to Floyd. Yeah, that's just me. It's me though. I stand by that one. That guy, Floyd, nah, bruh. Floyd killed the revolution in the EFF. Well, with so many others, but him, bruh, so much impact that he caused. And then there were other issues too. These are the end issues though, which I didn't know actually. I found it very interesting that Lesotho is claiming for land from South Africa, and this land is in the areas of Free States. That's what I saw. Although some people are also were saying this part of the land in somewhere in KwaZulu Natal or something, and Mpumalanga, that this land belongs to Lesotho and what's not. And then the interesting thing that's how I failed to verify though was they say this movement of trying to gain land back from South Africa in Lesotho is actually sponsored by Israel. It's like, huh? I thought that was interesting, but I couldn't find anything conclusive to say which organization from Israel or people from Israel or in leadership in Israel that's advocating for such a thing for Lesotho to fight and gain some land back from South Africa. I was even surprised that there's land that was taken, but I can assume, I'm assuming from during the Shaka eras and stuff like that, that there was some land that fell into South African hands that belonged to Lesotho. This is very much possible given the type of stuff that Shaka was involved in. Yeah, but I couldn't verify the Israel funding thing. But some people, even on social media, Twitter too, I saw that some people saying Israel is actually funding this persuasion to the United Nations for Lesotho to get land back from South Africa. This land is in the areas of KwaZulu-Natal and Free State. But many things that an article that I saw confirmed Free State. Free State's land is being alleged that is part of Lesotho, and Lesotho is going to United Nations to try get their case in against South Africa. We'll see how that goes. But this story hasn't developed much, so I'm not going to say anything to that. The last story that I want to close with today is the story of Abu Baba Bawashembe. I'm disappointed with this grown-ass old man trying to sneak and get married to these fucking kids. I'm disappointed to this old man, bro. Like, I'm very disappointed on them and what they're doing. So the justification these old men are saying is, young boys are gonna play with these kids. Young boys are not gonna marry you. So then it's better that they get married to these kids because young boys are not gonna treat these kids well. Like, what the fuck? Bro, you are 50. You are 60. You are 70. You are a grown-ass man, bro. Like, abantu abadala nje benza manyana. Like, this thing where says some of the things is just like damn, and these parents who allow their kids to be married to this grown-ass, doo-doo-ass man, it's crazy. Bro, these alabo baba bawashembe, with all due respect, mbadala uthi nikele shadi ingane encane. Let kids be, bro. Let kids be with their generation. Mbadala, bro. To say, these young boys are not gonna marry you. Why not? Did you marry everyone you slept with? Did you marry them? Where are the people you used to sleep with during your time? Where are they? Because you didn't marry everyone that you yourself, as an elder now, that you slept with. So this nonsense that these boys are gonna play with these kids, there's just, there's just things in SA, man. That's just like, just below the belt. That's just below the belt, bro. Way below the belt. I don't know what the fuck these men are talking about. I have no idea. What kind of lame ass excuse and low ass nigga who's 50 and 60 marrying a fucking kid, an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, barely finished high school, and then a grown ass 55-year-old grandpa is there to marry that kid on some religion shit. And, bruh, yo, ngoba religion yababulala abantu omnyama, yabahlanyisa shem, yo. Ayabakhulisa, bruh. How do you justify this? I just don't. There's no justification for me in this thing that is happening, Washem. There isn't. Anyway, let me close it there, bruh. Because Dabo Baba didn't marry everyone they have kids with, or probably even people they slept with back then. Now they have the audacity to say these girls shouldn't be with people who are their age. Just frustrating, man. Like, what? Bro, like, what is that? Anyway, let's end it here. Thank you, everyone. Please, if you are here and you watched this whole episode, you have to drop a comment if you are subscribed to the channel. Please drop a comment. You have to press thumbs up if you're subscribed to the channel. Like, guys. It helps the channel so much when you like. Please press thumbs up and like. You have to subscribe if you are not subscribed. Please subscribe to the channel so that I can also be able to grow and, put more efforts into creating the show for you. The elephant in the room. Let's go to work. Yes.